I'm Jordan, and you're watching Fixbook.
So today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your brake pads and rotors on a GMC Sierra. This one's a 99. Okay guys, and here's the tools I use in today's project. I got a breaker bar, a 21mm socket, side cutters or dikes, a C-clamp, a 32-ounce hammer, some paper towels or rags that will work, but you're getting grease all over the rags, so that's why I use paper towels. A big flathead screwdriver, some high temperature brake grease. I've got a long 3/8 ratchet and a 3/8 Allen or hex socket. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and begin today's project. Okay guys, the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and lift up your car. Well, you're probably going to want to break your lug nuts loose first. Sorry, I don't know what the lug nut size is because you had wheels and wheel locks, and so I don't know the lug nut size, but go ahead and break them loose, and then we'll lift up your car. And once you got your car lifted up, then you can go ahead and remove the lug nuts all the way, and there is a good place to lift up the car, so you lift up both sides. Now, if you don't have a jack like this, your jack may not be capable of lifting it up right there, so there is a ledge right along the side somewhere, and you can just find a good body piece on the side, and then you can use a block of wood if your jack doesn't jack up that high, just like that right there, a block of wood, and that's how you can lift up your car. So once you got your car lifted up and your wheel off, we'll be looking at our brakes. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to do is we've got two fasteners in order to remove our brake pads, and before we do that, let's go ahead and compress our piston a little bit so we'll be able to remove this guy. I'm just kind of slowly pulling back on him here. You can see I'm just going back a little bit, and there we go. I've compressed him enough to where I loosen up these two fasteners. He's going to come off. So now I'll just take a 3/8 Allen socket, and it fits right back in here, and let's see. Now I'm just gonna, I got them broken loose there, I'm just gonna zip them off. Now get this other side, and then we'll pull our caliper up. Okay guys, so now that we've got both these guys loosened up, you're gonna wanna try and pull them out just a little bit so we can get this guy up and around. And there we go. Now we'll just kind of pick them up here and set them off onto the side. You don't want this piston to hang on the hose there because that can damage the hose. So you should find a good place to set it here. When you don't have the wheel turned, I have it turned so you can see better. This guy will just slip right back in there and sit in there. So seems like it's doing alright just sitting there. And now the next thing, well, we can replace our pads from this position, but I'm also going to show you how to replace this rotor. So next I'll tell you some more. Okay guys, now to remove these pads, what we're going to do is you're going to take your flathead screwdriver, kind of work them in there, and just kind of pry and pull, and there we go. Just going to pop them out, and that's how you get that pad out. And then this other pad we're just going to kind of stick down in there, and he just pops out as well. So now we got our pads out, and next thing I'll show you here is how to remove this rotor.
Okay guys, so this is going to be our quick rotor talk. The reason to replace or turn rotors. Alright, for one, there's a minimum thickness. If the rotor measures below the minimum thickness, and you don't replace the rotor, it can cause personal injury or death because the rotor can break while you're driving. Now a reason to turn the rotors, if when you're driving you press the brake pedal, you feel that pulsation in the brake pedal, sometimes you can turn them and fix that for a while. If you can afford it, it's better to just put new rotors on there because the thinner they get, the easier they warp. So that's why you turn them, to replace them. Again, it's unsafe to drive with them if they're below the minimum thickness and you're putting new pads on there. So that's something that some people miss. It's dangerous. It can be a major injury, many lives dying kind of thing. So just keep that in mind when you're replacing your rotors.
Okay guys, now in order to remove the rotor, this is a captured rotor, which means it doesn't float. And what we're going to do is we got to remove this cap first. Now you're going to take a hammer and lightly, you can see how it's dent up here. You don't want it dent up. You're just going to lightly tap on it, and then it'll give us some space. We can see we've got a little space here now, so now you'll take your screwdriver And oh, it looks like I need a little bit more space to work with there, so I'm just gonna hit a little more. And then you'll get to a point where you can start prying. And there we go. That's how you remove that cap. So now we'll set our cap down. We got a set of dikes, and we'll remove our cotter key. I just grab it onto in there and straighten them out. And now I'm grabbing the other side. And once you've got them straightened out there a little, you can just grab on the head and kind of wedge and pull. And then we'll be able to pull our pin out just like that. Then we've got a 30mm nut here, and this guy was just kind of on there loose. And we'll go ahead and get this guy out, and then we'll see our rotor here just kind of rocks back and forth. And I'll show you taking that off here in just a moment. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish removing this nut here. I'm gonna set everything on my little napkin here. You want to keep everything clean, and I'm gonna pull this forward, and this is your bearing here. Your front bearing there. We'll go ahead and set him down with that little piece right here. And then I like to replace the seal. There's a seal on the back of the rotor, and the way you do that is we're gonna put this nut back on. It's also how we take out the back bearing as well, and you're just gonna just like that, and that removes the bearing and the seal back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy and just kind of set him down here as well. And now that's how you remove the rotor. So here in just a second we'll see what's involved in putting this stuff back on. Okay guys, now as far as the insulation goes, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and wipe out this guy real good. Make sure you get all the stuff off, and this one's been turned, so you especially want to wipe it out because the metal shavings can get on down in there. So just take a rag and wipe it off. This is the messy part, so we're just going to get this guy wiped out. Then we're going to grab our bearing and new seal, and we're going to get them worked in here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we've got our old bearing here, and well, we're going to reuse this bearing because the bearings look good on it. And we're just going to kind of wipe them off here. And this is only because it's been sitting outside, so if any leaves or dirt flew on there, you want to make sure that doesn't happen. I set this guy on a towel, so it shouldn't have any rocks on it. Then, if you don't have a bearing packer, what you can do is I'm just going to take this and just kind of put grease down in there, and we're just going to make sure this guy gets really greasy. And just kind of shove them down in there. And because a bearing packer, what you do is you stick it down in there and you see the grease come up through here. So we're just going to make sure these guys are greased really well, and especially since we're using the old bearing, it's pretty much already got grease in it, but we just want to make sure we apply grease generously. So now I got this guy pretty good, and then I'm also just going to kind of put some new grease in where it's going back in here. Make sure we got that greased up real well. So you almost can't use too much grease when putting these guys back in. So now I'm gonna set that guy in there, and then I'm gonna grab our new seal here. I'm just gonna pop them out, and it goes in this way. So there's kind of inside and kind of an outside there. So I'm just gonna set them on there. Then I'm gonna grab my hammer, and we're just gonna kind of hold this guy. Just kind of tap them around evenly, and it looks like you're gonna want to make sure it goes even, because like you saw there, one side was down too much. So just kind of hold it on there and just kind of work it around. Okay guys, and after tapping with it there for a second, I got all the sides flush here, and the other side was easier. It went down flush pretty easy. This side kind of gave me some issues. It kind of would go down further on one side and be all the way in on this side. So if that happens, you just need to put your rotor back on where you got your nut over there, pop it back out and pop that seal back off, and then put them back in. You should be able to get it in there right, unless it's bent funny, and this one went in there right, even though it went in wrong the one time. So now we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna wash, rinse, and repeat with that bearing process, and for the other side we're gonna put the outer, we're gonna put that other bearing in. So we'll see that here in just a moment. Okay guys, so here we are on the other side now. I'm just kind of holding them up, and I'm just gonna make sure this guy's nice and cleaned out. Pretty much doing the same thing we did with the back side there. Just make sure he's nice and cleaned out there. Now we're gonna take our other bearing, which goes on like that. I'm gonna grease them up. It's gonna take some tricky maneuvers here, and I'm gonna just apply grease like you saw me on the other one, stick this guy in, and then we have that washer looking thing that will slide over that once we get our rotor back on this the hub assembly there. So we'll see that here in just a moment. Okay guys, so now I went ahead and greased up the spindle. I wiped them down and then greased them, and now we're just gonna go ahead and put this guy here with our new seal on the back, and he'll just slide up on over and kind of smudge in there. So now that guy's on there. Now we'll take our greased bearing and we'll just work this guy right on in there, and then we'll take a little washer looking thing, which is gonna be this guy right here. And you see I got a leaf on mine, so you really want to make sure you don't get crud and all this stuff, because it can get in your bearing. So I've got him pretty clean. I'm just gonna slip this guy over there. Then we're gonna take our castle nut, tighten it down, and then just kind of back off, and then stick our cotter pin back in there, and this guy's just about ready to go. Okay guys, so here we are. We're doing the final little touches here. We're just gonna go ahead and tighten this guy down tight, right like that, and then we're just gonna kind of back off a little bit, and we're gonna look for our hole. Now we don't want to tighten it too much, but you don't want it to be loose. So let's see, right there it's kind of finger tight, and my hole is right there. So I'm just gonna tighten it around so I come to this next little ridge here. We go right about there and right about there. Now I can fit my cotter pin, and it's just barely tight, and I can fit this guy down in here. And guys, I'm doing this from memory. I used to do this a long time ago when I worked in a shop. And if I'm wrong in any way, feel free to correct me in the comments so we can let our fellow DIYers know. But that's how I remember to do it. So now we're just gonna stick that cotter key in there, and we're gonna pull them with our dikes one way or the other. First, I like to kind of twist them around, and there we got them twisted around there, so I can kind of pull the guys this way and then up that way. And then once we get them pulled around in such a way to where we can put our cap back on, we'll go ahead and put that cap back on. So there we go. I got them bent in a way so I can take my cap now, and just make sure there's nothing in there either. And we'll just go ahead and push them on. Then we'll take our hammer, here he is, and just lightly tap. You don't want to dent your cap really. And there we go. We can see all the way around. It's evenly put back on there. So now all we gotta do is put our brake pads back on, put everything back together, and we're almost done. Okay guys, the next thing we're gonna do is we've got to compress our piston here, because if we don't, those new brake pads aren't gonna fit over it. So I got an old brake pad in here, and then we're just gonna slowly twist this guy, and we're gonna compress them all the way back. And if you can see about the speed I'm going nice and slow. That'll prevent damage from occurring when you're compressing this piston back. So I'm gonna get this guy as close to flush as I can, get my new brake pads on there. I'll show you how to do that when we get there. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and push this guy out, because we want this guy to be able to slide in and out, and we can see he's not really pushing out there. He's not giving way. Let's see if we can get the back one to come out. You can see on the camera there, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see I pulled this back pin out. I was just able to push where you saw me pushing here. Now, you're going to want to pull this guy out and make sure that this guy is sliding. If I can get them, this cylinder piece should go back and forth. You have to have that to be able to happen. If not, that's what causes uneven pad wear. And on this brakes here, this side was thin, this side was fat, so it probably has something to do with these guys not being free. Again, this cylinder part needs to be able to move. This bolt part I'm holding on to needs to be able to slide back and forth. So if you have any trouble with that, do YouTube search Fixbook slide pin, and it'll show you how to deal with that if you're dealing with these tough slide pins and they just need to be able to slide. So I'm gonna lube these guys up, stick them back in there, and then it's going to be sliding well, so that's going to ensure the even pad wear. So next I'll show you installing your new brake pads. Okay guys, now as far as getting your new pads in there, this one just kind of sticks down in there and just kind of pops in like so. So you just get that guy to snap in. Then this guy, he's gonna go like this, and then we're just gonna lift up and push. Lift up, then lift up and push. And we'll snap this guy into place there. You want them to look even like that. So then we got all that back together. Then make sure you push these guys in. That's after you've already taken care of all of that. And then this guy should just slide right over here over top of the rotor. Now if you're having trouble like me, you might have to go back and go back on that piston a little bit further. So that's what I may have to do. So once we got that, basically you just put this guy in, fasten your two fasteners back, and of course put your wheel back on. And when you get in your car, depress the brake pedal all the way to the floor. That'll compress this piston. It'll compress the pads up against the new rotor. So that's pretty much it, guys. Your brake pedal may go all the way to the floor, and then you'll pump it again and again and again until it gets stiff, and that's when you know you're ready to stop. If you don't do that, you may not stop the first time you try and stop. So that's going to conclude today's little project. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching, guys. If you would like, subscribe, comment, and all that fun stuff. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.